What we're going to do today is we're going to look at how to sharpen one of these. This is called a brace bit, and this is a brace. It's a very useful tool, and we have sent them out to many of the carpenters. This drill enables you to make holes in wood of various sizes. These drill bits only allow you to make a hole up to about 12 millimeter. This one, they can go up to 25-30 millimeters. It's quite difficult to sharpen. It's not a skill that will come naturally because you may not have seen this tool before. So I'm going to demonstrate first of all how the tool works, and then I'm going to show you how to clean it, then how to sharpen. So the first step is you've got a square notch on the end. It goes in at an angle. Now if I take out the jaws, you will see that the jaws have a little notch in there, so the tool goes in like that. Many people in Tanzania will put this in, but that doesn't hold very well and it damages the tool. It's not the right tool for this. So we put the jaw back in, we tighten up the chuck, and we put this in the right direction. Then you tighten up. Now the drill has a ratchet facility, and a ratchet means I can turn it this way but not that way. Now if I turn the ratchet, it means I can turn it this way but not that way. And it's a useful tool for drilling into tight places, but also for taking the drill bit in and out. So here we have a piece of wood. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put the drill here. You hold it like this and you turn. Make sure the drill is straight. You keep it square and at 90 degrees. I'm on the ratchet. I need to turn. So what you do is you turn until you feel the drill bit coming out, or you see it. What I don't do is continue, because you damage the wood. Now we take it out. There is the hole made by the little point at the top. I then put it in the same hole. And have a nice clean hole. That's what the tool does. If it gets very rusty or dirty inside, then the wood won't come out so easily and it's harder to turn. So you need to clean it. You need a little bit of emery cloth or emery paper. And then what you can do is you can do this to clean it up. You have to be careful not to clean the tops here, you'll damage it, or the points here. Just be very careful when you're cleaning the very top. Do it very gently. You have different types of bits. You have the twist bit, you have this is the old-fashioned one, and you've sort of got a little bit of a twist with the old-fashioned one as well. They all do the same function. There are three parts to a drill brace bit. Carpenter's brace bit. You have the center point. The center point. That marks the center of the hole. You have a little piece sticking up here. In this case you have two, and those are the little lugs. And they outline the hole. So for example, if I show you here, where I first started to drill, you can see where the lugs have been outlining the hole. There's the center of the hole. If the lugs get broken or worn out, or they get damaged, or you file them down too much, then they no longer function and you end up cutting holes, but you damage the wood on either side. Then you have the sharp edge that comes back, comes down to cut. You have one here. In this one you have 1, 2. Normally I would sharpen it in a vise here, but if you don't have a vise, then you can sharpen it by hand. You need to lean it on a piece of wood. In order to sharpen, you need files. So you can use any small file that you have, not a round file. Normally this file would be the best one to use. For the threads at the top, you need a triangular file, which is used for saws because you need to get in at specific angles here. So you need to have one of these. If this is working, don't touch it because the chances are you'll damage it and it will not work. If you make one mistake or two mistakes on this, you will destroy the tool. So you have to be very, 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 very careful. And I've said very 4 times there because it is important. If you file the wrong direction, if you make a mistake, you cannot correct it. And then the tool will not function. So the first thing we're going to straighten or sharpen the little lugs. So I've got one here. The lugs are a bit blunt. So what I do is I'll put it on here. I get this file and very gently. Files only work in one direction. They don't work like a sawing motion. So they work forward only. Take off very little, because if you reduce the height of the lugs, then they don't function. And if they don't function, then you end up with problems with the drill. So when you take it off here, you do the same on this side. You just take off very, very little. Like 5 or 6 strokes, just until you feel it's sharp, like that. Next, you put your bit onto the wood and you file here. Do about 5 or 6 strokes until you can feel it's quite sharp. Don't keep going because the tool will wear out. You don't have very much metal on these. If you keep going, you will make it smaller and smaller and it will not last as long. Then I'm going to touch up the threads here just a little bit. There's a little bit sticking here. A little bit of wood caught in there. And so what I do is I put that in. Like that. Curve it round. And you've got to be at that angle. That's the angle of the threads. I'm not going straight. I'm following the contour, the shape of the teeth, which are going that way, or the threads. Okay. That in theory should be okay. Let's put it to the test. So to use it, you put your hand here. You put the point on the center where you want the hole. Then you push, lean your body in, and you turn this. Now I can hear it cutting. If you can hear that cutting, it wasn't doing that before. You would then stop, take it out, and come round from the other side. So you can see that the hole, it's not damaged, not like on this one where there's damage on the wood. That's very difficult to get rid of. If your drill bit is doing this on the wood, a little tip: if I want to drill a hole in here and the drill bit is doing that sort of damage, I put a bit of scrap wood on top first. I drill through the scrap wood and it won't do the damage. But you need to clamp it tight together, either in a vise or in a clamp of your own making. You put it in and then you will just go through, straight through. Point comes out, take it off. You then have to work out where the point is and then go through this one again, okay, because you can actually see where the hole is, and then just go through there, line up in the center and then straight through. Again, you've got to make sure that you don't damage the center point. If you find the center point and you move it 0.5 millimeter one way, then the drill will be difficult to use. Instead of being a round hole, you're creating like an oblong hole. And then that will be difficult either cutting, or that will be difficult to cut. So you've got to take off the same on both sides in order to maintain the point in the center. there are no threads, so you have to file like that, and you have to then file equally on this side. You need to keep the point in the center. Similarly with this, you file very gently like that. There is an angle on the lug which is going that way. You keep it going that way, but you don't take it down past the point here. And then for this surface, the cutting edge, that's what you do. It's better to do a little and test than to try and do too much and then end up with having to take more and more metal off. The life of the tool is that much. If you take off, and that's only about a centimeter. If you take off 2-3 millimeters, you're losing a third of the tool. You don't really want to do that. It will only get chipped if you're drilling into wood where there's nails, so you have to be careful not to go into wood with nails. You need to check carefully that there's no metal in the wood. Put it in. This is harder to operate than this because on this one you have the thread which pulls in like a screw, so it helps. This one you have to push a lot more. The bigger the drill bit, the more effort you have to do to push to make the hole. It is important that you oil the tool when you're not using it, that way it won't rust. And again, protection. Either keep them in a bit of cloth separate or a bit of cardboard. You don't have the protection, you throw your tools in the same box, they're going to get damaged no matter what tool it is. So that's it. Hopefully you'll be able to keep your tools in good shape with understanding what's going on here.